Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. So, you guys, this is Queen Season 1, Episode 8, God's Plan. I don't know how I'm feeling about this, y'all. I'm just going to keep it real. My emotions is all over the place. I really don't want Brianna to die. Like, I don't see the point in having Jeff die to turn around and have her die too. Like, I don't know if they could work it out where she's in a coma, she's in some type of rehab facility away for a minute. Okay, cool. But to sit here and just kill her off completely, I'm like, that would be so whack. And I get it. I know that Eve is pregnant and probably wants to take time off with the baby for a while. She's a new mom. I also had saw something about Remy supposed to be joining in season 2, and I was wondering how she would fit in, but I'm just like, if y'all kill her off, I was just expecting this, I didn't see it coming, and it's bothering my spirit, okay? But we also didn't get our kind of people this week. I thought they would at least come on this week, and then I'm expecting most of the shows to be, on break until after the new year, but that wasn't on either. That show done have more breaks than I don't know what. Like, by now we could have been finished the season. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into this episode. So we started where we left off, of course, with them rushing her into the hospital. The girls in the car crying. Jill is going in on a prayer. And, of course, it gets to that part where, it says in death. And Naomi is just like, you better not say it. You better not say it. And so, she doesn't. And when they get to the hospital, of course, they're concerned about who could have possibly did this, and they're worried about, Eric and Brianna, but they see that Brianna's situation is a little bit more severe. At one point, Naomi is like, Eric is going to be fine, but we need to know about Brianna. At the same time, they're showing clips of the news people announcing this, saying that they've both been shot and they don't have any other details. You're starting to see, fans forming outside the hospital, bringing, candles, teddy bear, flowers, whatever to set up out there. And they're not really giving them any information. It's just like sit there and wait. And we start getting a flashback where we see that Naomi and Brianna look like they were like the first ones to meet. Like they met in probably middle school. And they're in some type of cafeteria. And she comes over to her talking about Shakespeare. And at first, Brianna's talking to Naomi about Shakespeare. And Naomi is kind of like, listen, I don't listen to no damn Shakespeare. He ain't got, no lyrics and no flow, okay? It's people like, KRS-One and, Big Daddy King, Eric B. Rakim, those type of things that got a flow. And then she starts spitting some Shakespeare to her. And Naomi is looking like, hey, wait a minute. She was like, see, Shakespeare. She was like, well, who do you listen to? And she started naming, Nas and Rakim and whatever different names back. And then she like, oh, okay. She's like, well, we have, this thing that's about to come up in the Bronx where there's different people performing, and I really would like to get some girls together. She was like, I could rap, obviously you could rap. She was like, maybe we could throw in some other girls because Brianna's like, who, me? And she's like, yeah. She was like, and probably some other girls. So we see them forming a friendship, and we see them also interested in forming a group. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then when she gets home, she's trying to introduce her mother real quick to Naomi, and she's like, we're gonna go ahead upstairs to my room. And her mother turns around and is like, well, like, oh, I didn't know they let them wear regular clothes. And Naomi lets her know what class she is in and what school she goes to. And she's like, oh, she was like, well, I brought you home another friend for you to meet or whatever. That's a good girl that comes from a good school. And she was like, so you just brought some random chick home to meet me? And basically it ends up that that's Jill. So that was like how they all first initially met and became friends before they, ever thought about starting a group. So I thought that was cute. And of course Naomi is taking this real emotional because of the fact that they've known each other so long. Is much more than her just being, a member of her group. Is like friend/sister to her. So we'll see where it's going. We have Naomi telling them to turn the TV off. She's getting upset. And at the same time, which is understandable, Jill is like, listen, I'm just trying to hear if they caught anybody. And then we have this guy walk in that, we don't know who he is yet. And they're kind of like, listen, I know it doesn't look like it, but this is the VIP section in the hospital. And he lets them know that he's a detective that's working the case. He needs to speak to them because they witnessed an attack and something that could possibly turn into a homicide. And they are the only witnesses. And so, of course, Brianna's pretty much like, no, we don't have no enemies right now. All I'm worried about is finding out what's going on with my girl and whether she's going to live or not. Jill is talking about how she's been bad to everybody in her life. Of course, the whole situation with Tina ends up coming up. She gets a memory of that. Of course, when he's talking to Valeria, she basically gets a memory of her mom and thinks that could be somebody that could be targeting them because of, her still going to the cops. And then we get Lauren, of course, saying what she saw with the whole Jadakiss situation and the fact that when Eric first got there, he was beat up. And he basically was saying that, I'm so sorry, I'm going to get you your money. So, of course, each one is thinking that it could be something pertaining to that. Right, which is not too shocking. We was expecting that. And so, at the same time, Lauren is looking out and she's worried, wanting to know how they're doing and also saying the other girls don't know nothing about this, but, this is what I know and you might want to be careful with that. Then we have Brianna, sitting by Eric's bedside because at one point they had went up to the nurse, asking how they doing. And of course, they're like, if you're not family, we can't tell you nothing. And they're like, listen, we're longtime friends. We're like family. And Naomi lets them know that E-Rock is her daughter's father. And so she does finally say he's out of surgery and stable. But she's like, as far as Brianna, unless she's the mother of your child, basically being sarcastic, we can't give you no info. And when she says that, Valeria's like, oh my God. And they like, what? And she was like, Brianna kids, which I don't understand how y'all forgot about her kids. And on the one hand, I'm kind of like, should you really be bringing the kids to the hospital? On the other hand, I'm like, God forbid, if they are going to have something happen, then I guess it would make more sense for the kids to be there. So she leaves to go get the kids. And then Naomi ends up coming in to see E-Rock. At first he's out of it. She's saying she can't lose him and she would be the one that have to tell, JoJo that he's gone or that something happened to him. And she was like, I need you to come back. And again, the first words out his mouth when he finally is coming to is, I'm going to get you your money. And she kind of jumps up and covers her hands and is like, after a couple minutes, she asking him how he doing, and she's like, they still don't know what's happening with Brianna. And she's like, well, when you was at the billboard and just now, you basically brung up something about, I'm going to get you your money. And he's like, oh, that's just business stuff. And then he asked her, did they catch who did this? And, of course, she's like, no. And then he was like, well, you could come back and hold my hand if you want to, though. And she's like, boy, bye. And she was like, look, there's a detective here that's been speaking to all of us. I'm pretty sure he's going to come by and stop by and talk to you. And then he's just looking or whatever. And she walks out. So I don't know if she's going to have some type of resentment as well, being as though now she knows there's a chance that this could be all from a situation of him owing money. We don't know yet. Then we have Valeria getting there with the kids, Brianna's kids, and her mom is there, and her mom's attitude is like, no, we don't need to go in there. We don't need to see her. She's going to be okay. She's cutting them off. She's being dismissive. The nurse comes out to let them know that Brianna is out of surgery and on life support. And so the kids are saying they do want to go in and see her. She's saying she don't want to remember her like that. And so they was like, can RV take us in, talking about Valeria? And basically she's like, yeah, if y'all want me to take y'all in, I'll take y'all in. And the mother doesn't, stop them. Brianna's mom doesn't stop them from going in. But she's like, I'm not going to remember her like that. I'll see her when she wakes up, and that's that. And, Naomi is telling her, come on, Bree should not be in there, by herself. She should know she got family and, friends surrounding her, talking to her. And, I agree with that. So they say even when they out of it, they in a coma or whatever, they still hear you when you talking. But I guess it's hard just for her mother to think about seeing her in that way. But you don't have to stop everybody else from seeing her. because you're feeling that way. So at the end of the day, once the kids was like, well, grandma, we do want to see her, she did let them go ahead and let the nurse go back there and let Valeria take them back, and then she just still stayed there. And whew, she, Valeria tells them to make sure to keep her posted with everything that the doctor says while she's gone. And then we get another flashback to them practicing in the room. And at this point, they kind of just think Jill is this, corny girl that's her mom brung home random or whatever from school. And, a little church girl or whatever. So they like, you could basically sit there and be our audience while we practice. So this, of course, is them little, first meet in middle school or whatever up inside of Brianna's bedroom. And Brianna puts on some music and basically they start freestyling. And let me tell you, these little kids had the mannerisms and the rap styles down pack. I really enjoyed it this part. Naomi, the one that's little Naomi from middle school, she had that little like swag and flow that Naomi be having down pack. She did so good. The one that did Brianna was good too, but the one that was doing Naomi stood out a little bit more to me. But I was like, okay. So in the middle of them spitting, going back and forth at each other and stuff like that, we get Jill coming up out of nowhere like, look, I ain't about to sit here and just be no audience. And she got a little flow on her too. And she surprises them because, like I said, they wasn't expecting that. They just figured, hey, this is the random chick that my mom brought home with her, and she's the church girl in the girl that goes to private school. And they wasn't expecting her to have no flow. And she was like, look, I love Jesus and hip hop. I was like, I know that's right. So I did enjoy that little moment. It took the heaviness of us biting our nails and trying to figure out what the heck is going on with Brianna and whether she's gonna come out of this whole situation or not. Took a little bit of that off of us where we was able to just enjoy that moment. Then we had the kids in the ICU, or I'm pretty sure she's probably in the ICU with Brianna while she's hooked up to the tubes. They asking, is she there? And Valerie is like, yes, absolutely, she's there. And whether she's there, with you physically or not, she's always going to be with you and she's always going to love you. And she was like, I don't know where my mom is at right now and whether she's going or still here. And I definitely know that I'm loved no matter what, because I can feel it and you should be able to feel it too and feel that your mom is there too. So that was bringing tears to my eyes. I'm like, oh Lord, please. Sorry, y'all. I done choked up. I'm like, please let Brianna be okay. That was definitely a moment. And then the cop comes to see E-Rock and is asking him, telling him the 3 names that's been brought up to him and telling him, that they have Jadakiss and they know he owed money. And he's like, well, what part she didn't tell you? And he's like, well, is there anything you want to add? That's what we want to know. Whatever she didn't tell us, maybe you could fill in the blanks. And of course, he talking about something. No, that's okay. He don't got nothing to say. And he was like, if I knew somebody murdered me and they was still out there, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. But he was like, rest up, and basically, walks out. Then we have the doctor come to speak to, well, mainly the mother and the kids, but of course the girls is there. They're all surrounding. And she's saying that Brianna basically, the bullets, went into her spinal cord. There's different fragments in there. And they couldn't get it all out. And so for how it is right now, she's on life support. She's basically potential to be paralyzed from her neck down. Jesus Christ. I think they said the spleen had also got hit and the liver. But the main thing that they're worried about right now is her spine. And that there is a chance for this surgery to be done. They wouldn't know what the extent of anything is right now until when she recovers or becomes conscious tomorrow. And it's up to the family ultimately to decide. But if it was her family or, friend, she definitely would be saying, yes, do it. Because there's a chance for them to do a surgery now that even though it comes with risk, if they did it, she would probably have a lot more chance and be a lot more mobile and things of that nature. And so, of course, Naomi is like, listen, we got to give her every chance that we can. Like, you have to do this because her kids is going to need her. And in order for her to live the life that she was just starting to live, this would be the only way. We can't take that away from her. Her mother talking about something, no, don't touch my baby, don't touch my daughter, that's it. Don't hurt her anymore. I don't want nothing else done to her. And on the one hand, I can understand where she coming from. And on the other hand, I'm ready to shake the hell out of this lady. And I'm getting pissed off because I'm like, and then the doctor's telling her, you don't have to decide right now. And she's like, I'm deciding, leave my daughter alone. And they basically all looking at her like she got three heads. Like, how could you want to make this decision for her? But you can see that this is hard for her. She basically is breaking down crying. So I don't know. I kind of feel half and half because I can probably understand as a mom, her being scared right now. And then the other half, I'm like, listen, girl, to give this child a chance, any chance she possibly can have. We have little Muffin coming into Eric's room with this big purple bear. And he's like, what the hell is that? And she was like, listen, they didn't have much choices down in the gift shop. And she props it up in the chair. And basically, she's trying to tell him that, she's checking up on him, trying to tell him how Brianna's doing and that he needs to come on and, do what he got to do with this Jadakiss situation. And that snitches, get stitches is not like that now. And he has to speak up. And he was like, well, for Jadakiss it is. And of course, he's still saying he could handle it. And Brianna comes in the midst of it. She looking at both of them like, what's going on here? She knows it's something more to the story. And Eric is kind of pissing me off now that he's not telling her. And then she's like, what the hell is that about the bear that Lauren brung up too? And she grabs it and was like, get well, and just walks out. And so of course Naomi is asking Eric again, like, what is that about? What's going on? And he's saying, don't worry about it, he got it, he gonna take care of it. And she lets him know that this was a real scare for her, that they need to make things official. And he was like, are you proposing to me? And she was like, hell no, but where there's unknown father on JoJo's birth certificate, your name could be put there, and we could put some things in place that basically say that, we are family. This was a wake-up call for me, and how, things need to be in order. And so he's down with it. He's like, yes, absolutely, no problem. She was like, wow, that was quick. And he was like, listen, I've been wanting to do this, so if all it takes is me signing my name on a paper, then I will. And basically she gives him a kiss and they're rubbing their foreheads together. And then she tries to ask him again. And he's still talking about some, I'm going to take care of it. So he was kind of pissing me off with that part. Then we have Valeria going. Well, she had found out from the officer that her mother actually had a bench warrant in Wisconsin. And she's like, Wisconsin? Who is this bitch? And he says, so she's going to be taken away, for that. Plus, I guess with this situation and being in trouble. So Lauren comes and asks him, what about Jadakiss? And he was like, well, right now he's the prime suspect. So Valeria goes down to the jail to see her before she's moved to Wisconsin, and is basically still asking her, like, did you tell the truth? She's like, yes, your mother's name was Rosalind. I think she said Marquez. And she was like, well, how come she didn't come and you came? And how come you didn't steal no jewelry from me and all that kind of stuff? And she was like, well, jewelry would have been a short con. Living with you and being your mom, that was a long con. That was a way to live. And she was like, your mom, everything I told you was true. That was the stuff she told me because she was my friend. And the way she kept saying it in past tense, I figured that more than likely her mom was supposed to be dead. So when she was saying why she didn't come, she was like, because she's been dead. And she was like, what else can you tell me? And basically it was like, oh, well, if you get me a lawyer, type of thing, I'll tell you more stuff. And Valeria just looked at her in disgust and was getting up to go. And she was like, well, she really did love you. I know you don't believe, what I'm saying, but it's true. And so Valeria basically, just walked out at that point when she told her that. And that was kind of sad too. I feel bad for Valeria. We see them meeting up to go to the show that they was going to in the Bronx for their first performance. And Naomi is pissed because she been standing there waiting on them. Brianna's apologizing because she's like, listen, we had to wait for my mother to go to sleep, a deep sleep. And then when they get inside, they meet little young Eric. And him and Naomi already giving googly eyes. And he's saying, yo, y'all some nasty bitches. Like, y'all got a lot of heart. I'll give y'all that. Because they see Brianna's mom coming through and that their parents is coming. And they like, look, you got to put us on quick. We got to perform, and get the heck up out of here before they could stop us. We then get, the girls talking about remembering that night and being in the hospital room with Brianna, holding her hands, you know. And Valeria comes in and they like, where you been? And she joins them and she starts holding her hand too. And she's telling them that she went to see her mom. Then we had a nurse come in that's like first saying, oh, I just want to take vitals. And then she recognizes who they are. And she's like, oh, I can't believe it's really y'all. We get a lot of, you know, celebrities in here, but y'all are some that I really like, and I wasn't expecting to come across y'all. And they looking like, okay, girl, like right now they not in the mood for that. And then she just, you know, kind of go ahead and do what she got to do. And they start looking back at Brianna, and they're like, nah, we got to go talk to her mom. So, of course, they go out there. And, you know, Naomi is telling her, you need to do this. She was like, I believe you when you say she's going to be okay. She will be okay if we do this. You know, if she gets this surgery, this is what can change her life. Because, of course, the mother's trying to be bitter and say, you know, any problem she had from joining the group. She should have never let her do that. She could have been anything. At first, when Valeria's like, oh, I know you don't know me. She's talking about, no, I don't. You and all this stuff injected in your face and the way you dressed. I'm like, oh, Lord, lady. And then, you know, Jill is telling her, look, I don't care if you hate us or whatever, but we are her friends and we are her family. You know, it's not by blood, but we still family and we love her and we want the best for her too. So it looks like Mama might be breaking a little bit. We shall see. So guys, we have them doing the surgery on Brianna. And we have Jill praying, going in on a prayer. And we have her psycho-ass ex-husband. Nope, I'm skipping. Before that even happened, Jadakiss does come and see Eric. And he lets him know he didn't have nothing to do with this. But as soon as his ass get out that hospital bed, he could bet he would be coming for him. He's like, you better be happy or thankful, or maybe not so thankful that that person didn't get to finish you off. You know, I would have never did nothing like this and put Professor X in the hospital. I would have got your ass. Professor Sex, rather. So then he leaves. Then we get to Jill saying a prayer in the sanctuary of the hospital. And her psycho behind husband comes up. I forgot about him for a minute. I don't know if I'll put him on my list of my last week review. I gotta check back and see. But baby, he there praying and he talking about, see, I knew it was meant to be. Because she like, what are you doing here? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Jill, what you don't understand? This man is psycho, okay? You hurt him and he did not want to let you go. And he is saying that it is God's plan for them to be together and have this baby that they was always supposed to have, because the bullet did not hit her, y'all. In the meantime, you done messed up poor Brianna and shot Eric too. Okay, and he's talking about some God's plan and they're going to be together now and they could be happy. Are you freaking kidding me? And then all the while they working on Brianna, and I'm just like doing the Florida Evans. Damn. Like, y'all better stop playing with me, okay? And as she's tussling with him, because he's trying to grab her and hug her, and she's pushing him back, he starts choking the mess out of her. And we are hearing Brianna freaking flatlining in the background. And I guess the cops and them realized whatever now. And Naomi, Valeria, Jill, not Jill. Jill is in there getting choked. The cop, Valeria, Naomi, and Lauren is running down the hall, running towards her to find her. And by the time they get in there, basically Jill had ended up grabbing a daggone candlestick that was near her and hit him in the head with that to get him off of her. So now he's on the floor, knocked out unconscious, and they come in like, oh my God. And of course she's like, this is my fault. This is my fault. This happened because of me. He shot Brianna. And like I said, we're hearing her flatlining. We're hearing them say we losing her. We got Brandy singing in the background. I need to know what song that was. I don't even know. But y'all had me boo-hooing, okay, with that song and the flatline going. And then we see all the people outside. And we see that, you know, all the fans have gathered to light candles, teddy bears, flowers, balloons, you name it, cards, and got her picture there. And then as soon as it went black, all of a sudden we heard another beat. So I don't know, y'all playing with my daggone emotions. And then, you know, for the next scenes, we're seeing something about Valeria going and getting married. We're seeing Remy coming into play, them saying she was an old rival, but she was sick with it. And we see Valeria saying what happened with Brianna lets us know that life is short. So right now I'm in my emotions, y'all. I'm in my emotions. What did y'all think about this episode? Tell me in the comments what y'all thought. Until next time, that's all I got, y'all. I can't even talk right now. Toodaloo.